paradise, isn't it? Welcome to the newest episode of Danny on Everything. Back in Australia, where we bring you new content, new information, new guests, new music, and more. So sit back and relax. Enjoy the ride.
We are back, Danny, on Everything. Gonna set up a song for you guys, our Song of the Month by Mr. Steve Boyd, fantastic R&B singer, well known for singing lead with Parliament Funkadelic, but also a member of the Five Special, the Spinners, the Dramatics, numerous groups. And Steve released this live album just recently, maybe a month ago, if that. It's Steve Boyd live in Austin, Texas, and it's from a concert that we did there maybe around 2011 or 12, I want to say. The song is called Even Steven. It's one of his solo records, if you will, and on the Personnel Live there is Mr. Rico Lewis on drums, Mr. Lige Curry on bass guitar, myself, Danny Bedrosian, on keyboards, Mr. Michael Hampton on lead guitar, of course Steve Boyd on lead vocals, and then backup vocals by Kendra Foster, Paul Hill, Michael Clip Payne, and Greg Thomas. And we're going to hear the song right now. It's called Even Steven by Steve Boyd, and you are listening to Danny on Everything.
Y'all like that? I'm going to do a song right now coming off of my album that's coming out this summer. It's called Even Steven. It's the name of the album. It's the name of the single. Y'all check it out. Time I've been with you, I've always tried to give you all of my love. Oh yeah, yeah. This infertile love affair, I think it's finally got the best of us. Oh yeah, yeah. 'Cause you need your way and I need mine, but wrong with us. Why should we care? Take yours and I'll take mine, but baby, girl, take your love and leave me, 'cause I'm walking out the door. You don't need this silly, selfish love affair no more. Baby girl, all we ever do is argue, fuss and fight. Girl, you know this ain't you doing, no, it just ain't right now. About a 50-50 love, yeah. We had big fun and then some, but now I think it's time we say goodbye. Bye-bye, baby. Oh, girl, it was all of that, the things we do. I wonder why. Some time to sort things out and see what our next step will be for you and me. 'Cause he's in love with you and she's in love with me. Now gonna take your love and leave me, 'cause I'm talking about a 50-50 love. Hey, Mike Hampton, come on, baby.
We are back, Danny, on everything. You just heard Even Steven by Steve Boyd live from his new album. It is available. Contact Steve. Check out this music. It's fantastic. And speaking of music, for Sith and Synth today, we're going to phone it in. I didn't bring my synthesizer, but I wanted to play a few more songs from this fantastic album, Detroit Rising. We interviewed the executive producer of this album, Mr. David Schwartz, few months ago for one of our earlier episodes, and I'm really proud to be on this as well, playing my trademark Novation Bass Station 2, so I thought we would play that beautiful synth music in the background as we talked Sith and Synth with my friend, the gracious, very Star Wars educated, Star Wars savvy, master of information, Mr. Travis Thigpen. Travis, thanks for coming back.
Thank you for having me back. I really appreciate it.
So it's going to be fun. We're going to talk about, it's been a while since we've done a Sith and Synth, and we had been deliberating over what kind of stuff we were going to talk about, but it just so happens that a whole bunch of premieres, a whole bunch of trailers, and all kinds of new stuff has been debuted or kind of...
Star Wars Celebration happened in April. Basically, is what happened. That's where all of this
is where it all comes from. Yeah. So let's talk about what do you got first on the list of new Star Wars stuff.
Well, it seems like it'd been a while since we had any real new Star Wars news or anything. But the first thing you got to go into really is the trailer for the episode 9, called The Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
I gotta actually flip the interview on you. What is your honest opinion of that title? Because for me, it falls a little flat as the conclusion title to this 9-episode saga.
Well, something you told me a while ago that kind of made me laugh about the irony of the kind of goofiness of the title is we're sort of devoid of Skywalkers at this point, minus any possible spoilers or surprises.
Yeah.
The only kind of Skywalker we have is a Kylo Ren, who's really a solo.
Yeah.
He's
From the bloodline, obviously.
He's matrilineally
yeah.
Skywalker, and then there might be another There is another Skywalker. We don't know. We seem kind of devoid of Skywalkers at this point. So for this one to be the Rise of Skywalker without having read the script, it seems a little funny to me.
Yeah.
The name is kind of goofy to me, but it is in line with keeping up with Striking Back, Return of, Revenge of, all these kind of beginner names.
Awakens,
all these different things. So I guess it's apropos with the canon, but the name still seems funny to me. It scares me a little bit.
It does. And I even got to throw a little shade on the blue coloring of it. What is that?
What's the blue coloring?
The whole title, you know how they do it, with the title and everything like that, is in blue and gray.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what are they usually in?
Yellow. Except for, I think, Revenge of the Sith
which
was
is like
red.
red.
Yeah, and maybe one other one was red.
Okay.
But yeah, they're mostly yellow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple theories. One of them that I find funny, I'm going to bring up here about the actual title of it, The Rise of Skywalker. It's being thrown around a lot on the internet, is that instead the Jedi are now going to be called Skywalker.
Oh, that's terrible.
I think it's terrible too, but like Rey's gonna redo the Jedi Order in her image now that she has the book, she has the knowledge, and the Jedi Order is dead and everything like that, and she's gonna pay homage, I guess, to Luke.
Interesting.
The guy that she knew for like 10 minutes,
Yeah.
swatted her with a branch a few times, and
drank some green milk in front of her.
and smiled at her real nice like.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
So that's one of the theories about that this caught me off guard. And I thought I would mention here that I just wouldn't like them to go in that direction. To me, I know a lot of people follow Star Wars for the politics and the ships and the battles and everything, but I was always interested in the philosophy behind it. That's what drew me.
The religion.
The philosophy, the Sith, the Jedi, the Jedi Order.
Jedi,
I would rather go back to that than try and change it up into something.
Do you think the blue, not to stay on this blue thing for too long, but do you think the blue might have something to do with his lightsaber? Wasn't his lightsaber blue, or am I wrong?
Luke's?
Yeah.
So Anakin's lightsaber was blue. And then he had that forever, and then there's
he had
the
green
deleted
one.
scene that he built a green one.
Yeah. Return of the Jedi, you see the green one. Okay, I was just curious.
And then obviously in the trailer they show that his lightsaber is rebuilt and it's still blue and everything like that.
Saw the trailer.
I forced them into it, by the way, studio audience.
I don't like watching trailers to certain movies. If I care enough about the movie, I might be apprehensive about watching the trailer.
Right.
Some Marvel movies I don't like watching the trailer. Most of them I just watch.
This one really didn't give anything away.
It doesn't give anything away.
Anything at
I don't know
all.
what to think about this movie.
The only thing is the end with the laugh, which
I like
if
that.
you want to get into that now.
Spoiler alert.
Hopefully you've seen the trailer.
If you
by
haven't
now.
seen the trailer, there's a laugh. It's probably Palpatine.
It's definitely Palpatine.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Spoiler alert, you've already been spoiled
Yeah,
alerted.
you've been
So yeah, it's Palpatine. And here's something that I was watching a video online recently that I thought was very interesting that I saw. J.J. Abrams at Star Wars Celebration actually said that he's back in the flesh. So
That's
everybody
interesting.
said up till now, well, like, what if his his Force spirit is like imbued to the Death Star or a relic, like a helmet or something like that? Because there's been a lot of that. And
Siths,
yeah, you got Exar Kun. He built this temple and stayed there for many hundreds of years or whatever. So what if it was something like that? But then I heard that JJ said no, he's in the flesh.
Huh.
So like whether he'll be brought back by like the Dark Empire series where he just jumped clone bodies that he had made of himself, younger versions of them, or if he takes over this Matt Smith's guy or whatever from what is that, the Doctor Who show? I think he was one of the doctors at some point or whatever. He's in this movie, and there's a lot of theories that like the voice of Palpatine will be the original guy, but this actor will be his reincarnated body.
I hope it's not
and that's what would bring Kylo back, because spoiler alert once again, 100% he's getting redeemed in this movie. They've set it up for
redeemed
the first.
as in he's going to become a good guy.
A good guy. He's gonna die,
like Darth Vader.
Yeah,
type
exactly.
Of thing. Okay.
You know, the Force is circular, or whatever their little line is. You know,
Right.
echoes of the Force or something. It's gonna be the exact same thing as that. You can see that coming. So you would think that Palpatine would be the catalyst for that.
Yeah.
You know, and Palpatine probably kills his mother. You know, at Leia. You know, because they have to write her out.
They have to write her out. Yeah.
Somehow. So you go with that. You know, you can start to piece this movie together pretty easily.
Question: do you think J.J. Abrams will redeem this trilogy? Because it's become unredeemed, or whatever you want to call it. Sorry, Rian Johnson.
Toxic things in all of fandom right now. I guess Game of Thrones took that over recently, but I have okay. One thing that Abrams has never been known for is closing.
Yeah.
We go back to, for all those Game of Thrones fans that aren't happy and signing this 1 million person petition and all that, remember Lost as one of maybe the greatest failures of an ending of a show. Or go back to maybe, I know JJ didn't have the Sopranos.
That's not JJ though.
Yeah,
I mean, but we're just talking about weird endings. Some people liked the end of Sopranos.
Yeah, but could you imagine if the internet was around when the Sopranos
We were
final
talking about this
episode
the other
happened?
day. I feel like if YouTube was as big as it is, or around or whatever, when that happened,
it would have broken.
It'd be a mess.
Yeah.
It'd be a mess. And there'd be 1,000 spoofs.
Yes.
Sopranos spoofs of just like
fade in the black.
like it could be anything. Like, this is how Sesame Street ends. You know, a big bird and then black, and then this and then black. And I thought about that the other day.
Going back to your question, I don't know. He's never done it. He didn't do it with the Star Trek trilogy. You know, he's did
We've
the first two.
We've talked about that before.
So,
he's not a closer.
Yeah, he's great at rebooting stuff.
Yeah,
but I have faith in him. And from what I've seen, he definitely, and everything that I've heard over the last couple of years, he had a vision for how this trilogy should have went.
Yeah.
And you've definitely heard from sources, the guy that plays Unkar Plot or whatever, the comedian, Shaun of the Dead and everything.
Yeah,
He's like great friends with JJ.
Yeah, I know.
He's like,
buddies.
that's not how we would have taken this movie. They wouldn't have did this. They wouldn't have did that. You know, he was very upset with The Last Jedi or whatever. So I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of retcon. You know, I mean, they can't like bring Luke back and be like, oh, he never died or anything. But we'll get back to that in a minute here. He's gonna be back in some form, whether it's a Force ghost,
like
or he comes back in the whole of the flesh. But I'm optimistic. Everything that's happened since Star Wars Celebration makes me optimistic for the franchise as a whole. So I'm trying to let all the happiness of that like bleed into Episode 9.
Okay.
But in reality, it's probably gonna miss a lot of marks.
Okay. I feel like Abrams had a color with Force Awakens. He created a template for us to really kind of sink our teeth into, something that like really would whet our palates for a continuation of the saga, if you will.
So many questions came out of this movie.
So many great questions came out of that, and what was it, Episode 7?
Yeah.
And then by 8, they were all answered like, don't worry about it. Check this out. Just like, what? And 8 was one of those movies where the first time I saw it, I was like, yeah, I think I like it. And I saw it again, I was like, oh, no. Sometimes I get so excited by the fact it's a Star Wars movie that I'm just like, oh, it's awesome. But then I saw it again, I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. And there were things I didn't like about it. The only thing that I do remember hating from the first time I saw it was how they killed Akbar. That bothered me to no end. Right away, I was like, oh, what? You don't even see him die. You don't even like slow it down. Even then, I was so mad about that.
Would you have been happier if you just saw him flipping through space?
Maybe not. But I was looking at it. What a weird lack of continuity from
in the
vision.
books. He's retired.
And he comes back out
of
retirement.
No,
it's in the movie too.
Yeah. And
doesn't they say he comes out of retirement?
Well, they might have mentioned it.
Maybe it's in this. Did you say it's in the book?
It's in a book.
Somewhere they say they pulled him out of retirement. Yeah. Somebody says that he and
then you get one scene and then he just dies.
Oh, so terrible. So terrible.
Thanks, Rian Johnson.
So we'll see. We'll see on this movie.
I really didn't. Just to go back to one part I really didn't like about it is that opening scene. Whether she's training or actually fighting Kylo Ren.
When the new movie that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, the new trailer.
The Skywalker's.
She does the backflip over the TIE fighter or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's all Matrix. It's slowed down.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't need that kind of stuff. Even though I need force powers, I need force jump, I need force speed, I need these things that were introduced in the prequel that they have just completely abandoned.
Yeah.
I need that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't need slow down Matrix.
Yeah,
that's not gonna work for me.
Remember when like every movie had that?
Yes. Yeah. 150 cameras on set.
I think back to X-Men 1 and how like we were all so happy there was an X-Men movie, but you go back and watch it now, it is hot garbage. And it's like everybody looks like Neo. There's not a hint of color in a single uniform. They're just all Neo. Like that was a time where it was like everybody has to wear black and black sunglasses and move slowly and dodge the bullets.
Well, yeah, Crouching Tiger and all those movies.
All that was at the same time.
Yeah, all that stuff.
You know,
just kind of made a genre.
The first Fox Marvel movies and the original Marvel movie, it was just like everybody was wearing black, everybody was Neo. It was a mess.
And see, kind of, if you ask me like a director, I would kind of want, or a group, you know, the brothers or whatever they are now, the Wachowski people. Yeah, people. Yep. You know, I would actually really like what they could do in a Star Wars universe, as long as they left that shooting style
that'd be amazing.
behind.
Yeah, well, I think they would because using Cloud Atlas as a basis for what they could do. Have you seen this movie?
No.
Whew. I saw it in IMAX when it came out, and that's one of those movies that every time you see it, it's like a Dali painting. Every time you see it, like, oh, I didn't even notice this. Yeah, one of mine too. And it's like, I didn't even notice this last time. Oh, look at this. And it's like 5-6 actors. The whole movie. They play everybody. And not to give too much, you gotta watch it because to me, it's better than any Matrix movie. I'd say like for Wachowski brothers, my favorite stuff they did was the Animatrix and Cloud Atlas. Right. Cloud Atlas, it's like 10 stories with the same 5 actors in the whole thing. It's incredible. But yeah, so that being said, moving on is because there's other Star Wars stuff going on. There's a Vanity Fair article. Let's talk about that.
It just came out yesterday.
Yeah. And
this one is kind of a spoiler-ish thing. They released a bunch of on-set pictures and everything, so you get your first confirmation of the Knights of Ren. No. They're definitely going to be in this movie, so we will have some kind of answers to their storyline
from episode 7.
Yeah, where where they've been, what they've been doing, what they formed. Are they actually the students that Kylo took with him from Luke's academy?
Right.
Or are they these people that were alluded to in the book? I forget what they were, but they went around collecting dark side relics and then like burning. They would get like Sith lightsabers and then burn them as like an offering back to that Sith Lord or whatever.
Wow.
And they wear these helmets that are supposedly from ancient Sith Lords and everything like that. So I'm wondering which group they are. I want that conclusion of the story, something that was set up in 7 and abandoned in 8.
Well, you know where they were in 8.
In the Outer Rim.
They were doing the trade dispute with Maz.
Nice.
You don't see it, but Maz hired the Knights of Ren real quick and used them. They were mercenaries,
One of the worst shots in that movie too. It looks like Battlefront.
So
like, what is she doing?
What is she doing? It's like, I have no time to talk, but I'm going to actually talk to you while I'm fighting out. The Maz scenes are weird for me.
The Vanity Fair article confirmed that this movie will be taking 1 year after The Last Jedi, so there is a time jump.
In the timeline.
Yeah, it's not going to be 15 minutes after, The Last Jedi to The Force Awakens, so it'll be a year. They're trying to recuperate or whatever, figure out, Poe's obviously going to be taking more of the general role in the Resistance, as they ride out.
Interesting.
Leia. One of the more interesting pictures that was released, if you want a little bit of spoiler stuff, go check out the Vanity Fair article. If you're somebody like Danny that's not into that stuff, I would definitely try to avoid it, because you can kind of piece this movie together just by looking at 5 pictures. It's kind of interesting. But there's a picture in there of solid Luke.
What does that mean, solid Luke? What is
Luke
solid
without the blue aura of the Force Ghost around him.
Oh, so Luke, living Luke.
Yeah.
Well, maybe Abrams was just like, I hate 8 so much, I'm just going to negate everything that has anything to do with it. and maybe he just kind of went with a living Luke. We don't know he's dead. We just assume he's dead.
No, Rian Johnson confirmed he's dead.
Oh, okay.
He did definitely say he died.
Oh, did he disappear?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Yes, he disappeared, which to me, even you could have written that out as long as Rian Johnson didn't say what he actually said. Because, I mean, you could be like, he force traveled to somewhere. We made up a new force power.
New force power.
Because you remember, that's what they used to do almost every 1 through 6. There was always, and 7 they did it with the, and then 8 I guess they had the force Skype.
Well, there's the Force. How about Leia flying through the sky after being blown out of the ship? That's a new Force power. I never seen them do that before.
Yeah.
I never seen anybody do that. Yondu couldn't do it in Guardians 2, but Leia had no problem doing it. I've never seen Leia use a Force power ever.
Yeah, but she did receive training that's confirmed in the books.
Okay.
The reason the line with Yoda, there is another. And
the time between 6 and 7.
Yeah, she received training, and Luke trained her in 7 to 8 or somewhere
between
in there.
Somewhere.
Yeah, so I mean, she knows what she's doing. She's just not. She would be on the spiritual side. Stuff like that, floating through
I feel
and
like
everything.
Even
She wouldn't be.
couldn't do that. Like, that seems like the most insane thing.
Oh, it breaks all science.
It breaks just everything. It breaks everything.
Yeah, I mean, if we had Neil Tyson deGrasse sitting over here on one of these mics, he'd be like, no, that's not how any of this works.
Yeah. Never mind the ship doing light speed through the other ships.
Right. The last picture that I found kind of interesting in there was Kerry Russell, who's in this movie.
And who was Kerry Russell again?
She's a big time actress.
Okay.
She's been in a lot of stuff, like the early 2000s stuff. You know, she's not older, but like she's not really relevant right now. She's not.
Sorry, Kerry Russell, if you watch my show, you're very relevant, and we love you. I'm sorry I don't know you, and Travis called you irrelevant. Go on.
I'm just saying she's not making blockbuster movies or anything. She's not like that. She might have a TV show on ABC or something like that I don't know about or whatever.
Okay.
But she's actually playing a villain, what they call in the Vanity Fair article a scoundrel.
A scoundrel.
Yeah. If you remember, there was the lady in the purple outfit in the trailer that you saw, and she has like a gold mask that kind of sweeps back or whatever. She has a very what's the bad good girl in Solo.
Oh, yeah. His girlfriend?
No. The chick they're fighting the whole time. It's a helmet very much
rebel.
like that.
She's the early rebel. I forget her name.
Yeah. Inferness or something.
Carl Cerny would know. I know he's on the other side of the...
Inferness, yeah.
See? Okay, thank you, Carl.
Yeah.
Props to Carl for that.
It's a helmet very much like that, so I wonder if there's a tie-in or something like that. Maybe this is the remnants of that organization, or it could be completely something different.
Okay.
It's just... visually, it just kind of struck that cute.
Okay, interesting.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting because she's. What I do know, I can't place any of the movies Kerry Russell's been in, but she's always pretty much. That Russian show on FX. She's the main actress.
Oh, The Americans.
The Americans.
Oh, I know who she is.
Yeah. And that's
Good
about
show.
as dark as I've
Good
ever
job,
seen. Yeah.
I like that show.
But that's as dark as I've ever seen her go. So, like, for her to be a scoundrel in the Star Wars movie, I thought that was pretty interesting.
Do you think she's a Knight of Ren? A fallen Knight of Ren? One that...
If anything, I would like her to be somebody from the Outer Rim, because they said that Kylo is not Snoke's first apprentice.
Kylo's not Snoke's first. Okay, yeah.
So if she was, like, the first student or something like that and came back to avenge Snoke, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I would totally be into that.
Well, you know who Snoke's first apprentice is.
All right, go ahead.
Bibble.
Bibble's Bible. All right.
Go on.
Moving on.
For those who don't know, Bibble is the governor or whatever from Naboo, who's like, you must contact us. You must make peace. I want to do a show called Bibble's Bible, and it's just Bibble telling stories, little known, irrelevant stories about the Star Wars universe, but just stuff nobody wants to hear about. And Disney's going to bankroll the whole thing because, that's the stuff they're going for. Go on.
He tries to sell me on this once a week.
It's like a joke about Disney not having their finger on the pulse. Bibble's Bible.
You nailed that for sure. Quickly, moving away from the Vanity Fair article, there was a couple trailers and video game releases, trailers out there. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with the video games, because I thought they were done with the video games. I thought they weren't going to be bringing them back.
They canceled one that Just Cause lady was working on. She does. Was it Just Cause? Yeah, I think it was that. She had this whole open world thing. It was going to be great. You know, you can just walk around, walk into a cantina, do your thing. You know, maybe take a mission, very much like Grand Theft Auto. And for some reason, they axed that.
Now, who was it? They was it
Disney? Because
it wasn't Ubisoft or one of those.
I think it was under EA.
That's right, EA. EA was the one making them.
But EA has the game coming out right now, The Fallen Order.
Yeah.
And it has the guy that plays the Joker on the Gotham series right now.
Oh,
Matthew Monahan, I think is his name or something. He's the Padawan that you see, and it basically follows a story of a Padawan who sees his master get killed in Order 66.
Yeah.
And he tries to escape.
Okay.
So he's running from, and apparently there's at least 2 of the in Rebels. What were they? The Inquisitors.
Oh, Inquisitors, yeah.
So it's like, you know...
Man, it feels like we're doing a lot of...
in the same time period?
A lot of in between 3 and 4.
Yeah.
You got Rebels, you got Han Solo, you got Rogue One.
Yep.
You got this new video game.
Yep.
You got some new book.
Which is a canon story.
This canon story. They got this new book that girl wrote about... whatever, something that happened in between the 2 stories. It seems like between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope is like a real popular time to be focusing on, but the fans don't really want
to
all
be
that.
anywhere in there. You know, most
me.
fans that I talk to want to leave this saga. You know,
I like
once
Rogue
9's
One.
done, you know, let's move away. I mean, there's stories that you want. Can we get back to them later? You know, let's get some freshness in here, some new ideas.
That's a lot of stuff. What I just named. That's a lot of. That's like. Remember we were like breaking it down. We were like. What did we say? Han Solo is, or is like Rogue One is like 3.25, 3.35, and like Han Solo's 3.66.
Oh,
remember that was like Rebels
yeah.
is 3 point something. We had like all the numbers like down for like what it was between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Yeah, and a lot of the books actually that Disney's put out have take place in there. There's like Lords of the Sith and everything. Right. There's a lot, and most of the Vader comics. You know,
are all in that period too. That's a great point. The Vader comics that you reviewed on this show are from between 3 and 4 as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. It's they need to focus on something else. You know, I mean, you have the long rumored Obi-Wan movie that apparently got shot down after the failure of Solo. They were going to greenlight that. It was Ewan McGregor. They were going to do it. And then Solo happened, and they canceled it. But just to go to that real quick, it's actually rumored to be the 3rd series they're going to do on the Disney Plus.
Which leads me to the next part. I want to talk about Disney Plus. Is Disney Plus offering anything that are in interesting timelines to you? Is there anything that Disney Plus is going to be offering that you think is going to be a unique timeline, or is it all just more of the same?
Well, to answer that, that's more of the same. The timeline that I'm most interested in is obviously The Mandalorian, which takes
Let's talk about that a little bit. When is that taking place? Because Mandalorians exist not all through, but through a lot of the history of stuff.
6.
After Return of the Jedi.
Yeah. In the years between 6 and 7.
Okay.
So that's a very little explored section.
Little explored on the screen.
Especially the Mandalorians themselves. They're not explored at all.
Much at all.
You know,
other than in
Clone Wars.
In Rebels.
And the Rebels.
Clone Wars and just whatever little bits that you know from the books. And the Boba Fett comic book.
Yeah, all the Boba Fett stuff.
The Dark Horse stuff. Which has been decanonized.
That would be the one, because the other one that has been confirmed to happen is the Cassian Andor series. Which I don't know who greenlit
Bible's
that.
Bible.
Yeah, that is literally
Bible's
a show
Bible.
That even the most chill Star Wars people that I watch on YouTube, they're even like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like ones who will almost watch anything.
Yeah, and I love Disney and everything they put out. The Last Jedi is the greatest movie I've ever seen. Yeah,
still don't want to see Cassian. And you know what's funny? I love Rogue One.
Yeah.
I love
and he's
Rogue
a good
One.
character.
I don't have any interest in seeing his story.
The only thing that's slightly interesting was he was a separatist before he was in the Resistance.
Yeah.
So if you're telling the story of that fall,
that's cool.
Kind of cool.
I like the separatist
Do I need to
stuff.
see it? No, I don't care. Can we invest our money somewhere else in something that actually the fans want to see? Yes.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see a cartoon about the Separatists. I know they did a lot of it in the Clone Wars, but that'd be cool to see the fall and what happened with what was left of the Separatists, the ones who did survive. The leaders were all killed.
Right.
But, you know, and of course vast swaths of the army were droids.
Are you talking like the planets themselves or the people that went out
No, the planets
into...
themselves, because that's a good in-between. Like, if you're going to do some crap in between 3 and 4, let's do that. The fall of the Geonosians, the fall of, you know, like how they were like wiped out by the Empire. Yeah, spoiler alert if you didn't know that. But
this show's all spoilers for the rest of the show.
Spoiler show.
Spoilers.
But I'd really like to the Banking Clan, the Trade Federation, what happened to these guys? That's a between 3 and 4 story that I'd like to see.
You know,
as narrated by Bibble.
I just want to leave all that. If you're gonna give me one thing that I want to see, give me pre-Phantom Menace, young Palpatine being trained. The Plagueis story.
The Plagueis story.
The book is one of the most amazing pieces of Star Wars literature that they decanonized and made expanded, Legends stuff. But it's one of the most
stupid
popular.
That's Legends because he talks about it in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. I mean, Plagueis is canon, but that story is not, and it's an amazing story. It's probably some of the best. Like honestly. Do that as a television series on this Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I'm super interested.
And the artwork from that storyline is really cool.
Yeah, every time you see it pop up in videos and stuff like that. It's young Plagueis?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Man.
Like, that'd be cool. All right, so Mandalorian, we're focusing on a unique time period. We're focusing on the Mandalorians themselves.
Right.
When shrouded in mystery, other than the cartoons we spoke of and the comic books that have been decanonized.
You would think Bo-Katan would pop up in this from the Rebel series, the Clone Wars series, the sister of Duchess Satine that Obi-Wan was in love with and everything. She ends up getting the Darksaber in the Rebel series.
We gotta get the Darksaber on this.
Yeah,
there's gotta be some Darksaber going on.
Now, oh man, live action Darksaber.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We got Nick Nolte, don't we?
Yep. Yes.
Nick.
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers too?
Yeah, man. I mean, this is
interesting.
Pedro Pascal, you know.
Yeah,
he is one of the hottest names in Hollywood right now. You get all these actors together, I'm into it.
Yeah.
The I can't forget her name.
It's a show, right? It's not a movie, it's a show.
Yes. So basically, we'll start. Disney Plus was announced at the Star Wars Celebration. It's going to be their live streaming service. They announced that after what is it? The Rise of Skywalker. I can't even remember that name. It's so bad. I have to have a piece of paper like an old man. The Rise of Skywalker. That they're going to take a 3-year break from the movies. Yeah. So most of your Star Wars, other than I think Star Wars Resistance will remain on Disney Plus. The rest of it will be released.
What is Star Wars Resistance? That Poe cartoon?
Yes.
Oh, God.
And I've tried watching it. I'm up to episode 14. And
you did better than me. I hit 4 and gave up.
Yeah. I like the animation style, but
I don't like it.
It's not my jam. But it's made for kids, so whatever.
Yeah,
it's their thing.
Sure.
But they announced this is the greatest thing of Disney Plus. $6.99 price point. No commercials. A month. That topples Hulu, that topples Netflix.
Does it? Yeah.
You're getting the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe there. You're getting the whole Star Wars universe. You might even get the Caravan of whatever. What is that?
What is that?
That crazy 2-part Ewok movie that they made.
Oh no.
Yeah, that might be on there. You might even get the Christmas celebration.
What about the Clone Wars movie? I haven't seen that anywhere since that came out.
You're gonna get all their whole thing is gonna be on there for $6.99 a month. Now, of course, that's only gonna last a certain amount of time or whatever. That's just to hook you in. But when it first releases in November, you're gonna get the least. It hasn't been confirmed how they're doing it, but you're at least gonna get the first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian on there. They might do it like Netflix, where you get the whole, all the episodes at once, which The Mandalorian is supposed to be, I think, somewhere in between 8 to 12 episodes.
Okay.
So you might get it all at once, or they might do it weekly.
Total 8 to 12 episodes, and then that's it? That's the series?
That's season 1, and it is a limited series, so people are speculating it's going to be 2 seasons.
Okay.
So you might get, that's 16 hours, compared to a movie. That's great. You're going to delve into these characters, the world that they're creating for you.
Okay, and then the movies themselves. What's the release schedule for the movies going to be like?
Yeah, they just came out with this. Disney released their whole schedule. I mean, if you want to know anything about Pixar or any of them, I mean, it's all out there. Indiana Jones 5, you know.
Indiana Jones 5?
5, yep.
Okay.
The next, they've announced 5 Avatar movies. 5 of them, which
too little, too late.
Exactly. If you wait 15 years.
Great movie that when it came out in 2005 or whenever that was. Before that, maybe
time.
I don't even remember. 2002. When did that come out? I feel like I was a kid when that came out.
Yeah.
You know, and as interested in it as I was, you can't wait that long. This isn't Star Wars.
Right.
You can do that with Star Wars. Right. They did at one point.
There's not books and comics that people are reading.
There's not some huge canon to keep up with while you wait.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no toys. There's no. I mean, if there is, they're not consequential.
Yeah. You don't walk down an aisle in Target and see a whole side
of Avatar toys.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a mess.
So basically, what Disney's banking on saying that is in 2022 is when you're going to get the next Star Wars movie, which is confirmed to be the Benioff and Weiss, the start of their trilogy.
Okay.
Which
and I want to get
there's
back
a
to
lot of people cringing at home. Sorry about that, but from there, 2023 you get Avatar 2.
Yeah.
2024 you get the next whatever Star Wars movie. Okay. So it's going to be every 2 years after that. So and basically they've announced 2022, 2024, and 2026.
Okay. To get back to the Benioff and Weiss, as someone who has not seen the final half season or whatever you want to call it of Game of Thrones, but someone who has seen everything up until that point, I want to say 2 things. If you're upset that it's deviated from the books, it deviated from the books in season 4. It's been deviating from the books since the very beginning in some kind of way or another.
Right.
So let's get that out of the way.
They have to figure out what the makes the cut for the actual show. That's one thing they've never really realized about that.
And although I haven't seen it yet, I know a lot of people hate it, the new half season. I think 2 things about this. A, they should have just kept it as a full season because the first half that happened like 2 years ago, whenever it was, felt like it was just cut off so quick. Yeah. And now everybody's complaining about this half season. Well, why they should have just put it all together? Yeah. And it probably wouldn't have nobody probably would have hated it quite so much. You know, the Starbucks cup aside.
Yeah. And the water bottle in the last
and
episode.
Whatever. Yeah. So I haven't seen any of this, but to say that because the season quote unquote sucked, that Benioff and Weiss somehow are now incapable of or unable to or not legitimized in doing a Star Wars trilogy, to me is absolute insanity. Yeah. These 2 guys, if you want anything pre-Phantom Menace, whether it's 2 years or 2,000 years, to me, these are the guys to go to. These are the best guys, and I'm talking anything from, not Mon Calamari. What are those guys called that had the Empire? Who are the weird fish guys who had the big empire?
No,
the calamari is that's Akbar. That's Akbar's people.
They had a big empire.
That's Akbar's race was the people with the big empire?
Oh, are we going way back? Rakatan?
Yeah, Rakatan.
Okay.
Everything from the Rakatan Empire, Celestials, all the way up to what we call Old Republic and the stories that go with it.
Yeah, there's so much.
So much. All the way into and going back. I'm jumping back and forth, forward and backwards, but like
Jedi
early
Purge.
Jedi, original Sith race. I know some of this stuff has been decanon, but all of that stuff. If we want anything that's anything like all of that, and I know as a fact you, who's a diehard fan, want it. I want it. It's the one thing you and me agree on. Is that we want some of this old stuff. Yeah. If you want any quote-unquote old stuff, I know it's a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but a further time ago.
Yeah, where they think it's old stuff.
Yeah, if we want any of that, the only people we can really count on, in my opinion, is Benioff and Weiss. Maybe a Peter Jackson, but I don't think he'd ever go for it.
You know, Chris Nolan.
Maybe Chris Nolan, but Chris Nolan's even more futuristic. Like these,
he could be.
Benioff and Weiss.
He did a lot of good war movies and stuff like that. Yeah.
He did war movies, but like Benioff and Weiss to me can capture the Iron Age vibe.
Yeah.
And
they've already shown that they can do that.
The barbarism and the primitivism of it. And not to say that any of this is primitive, because even the Rakatan Empire, although it's ancient in Star Wars lore, they were very technologically savvy. Yeah. To say the least. They had the, what do they call that thing?
The Star Forge.
Yeah, they were great. That's what I want. I want a Rakatan Empire trilogy. And it's never going to happen. No. But I want it. That's what I want.
You're more likely to get the Bane trilogy and how the Rule of Two.
You know who would have done a great Rakatan Empire trilogy? The Aliens guy.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
That's who you get to do the Rakatan Empire, and then you get Benioff and Weiss to do Old Republic. And I don't know what they're doing.
You sold me. I'm there.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I'm sold on
And
it.
I'm sorry, bad half season or not, they got like 8 quality or however many quality seasons of a show that I'd say 99% of those people never read the book.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason you know anything about it is because of Benioff and Weiss.
Yeah, Benioff and Weiss took this thing that was, I don't want to say obscure, but outside of nerd world, obscure.
Right.
And made it the most popular TV show in the world.
By their choices from reading the book.
And from reading it well. And the other thing I want to say about them,
what they thought was important.
Yeah, they're it's the only show that I've watched, maybe ever, and I want to give some credence to Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, getting back to some Lucas stuff, because Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, although it was canceled after like 4 or 5 seasons, they spent like $1 million something on every episode. So even though it's whatever, those episodes looked like movies. And the only other show I've seen like that, I have to say, is Game of Thrones.
Right.
Every episode of Game of Thrones.
Even one of our favorites, American Gods.
American Gods is great, but you saw
it's
a little
not
bit
movie
of
level
no,
quality.
not quite.
Yeah.
You know, stars don't
They
have
try.
it like that. They did great.
Yeah,
the story's great. If it weren't for the stories and the acting, it might be in trouble.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones has great stories and acting too, but looks superb. And I feel like Benioff and Weiss have a lot to do with that quality control. I think that they would be really good at developing a quality trilogy.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And if you're scared because they're like, oh well, once they didn't have the books to work off of, then the show really went downhill. Well, guess what? The whole expanded universe is at their disposal.
Yeah.
They can use anything they want from it. Any storyline, just change some names. Yeah. Exactly.
They have more than enough literature to draw. If they're worried that there's not enough literature, there's way more literature than there was in Game of Thrones.
Way more.
And
thousands of books.
Nobody's really complaining about those seasons where they deviated from the books. Even people who read the books were like, well, this is nothing like the book, but this is some amazing entertainment.
Right.
The only season I've heard any flack about is really this last one.
Yeah.
I mean,
a little bit about the one before.
But that's sort of the same season.
Yeah.
To me, I'm not separating them.
Okay.
Because it was like 6 episodes and then 6 episodes, and like all the other seasons were like double that. So it was a weird way to make extra money and take longer.
Right.
I don't buy.
Why would you rush it at the end? This is like
it's weird.
Keep doing it. This is the money juggernaut.
Yeah, I know.
Like, spread it out. Go watch Naruto. There's 700 episodes. Where like 250 of them don't even need to be in the show. Or One Piece. Yeah, man.
I saw a graph on one of my favorite maps apps. That's on Instagram.
You and your map apps.
Oh, I love it. And this one was a graph. It wasn't even a map, but it was a graph of the term Google. People Googling cancel HBO subscription.
Yeah, I saw the article today.
And it's right after the Game of Thrones thing ends, so it's like, sure, and just all the subscriptions canceled. What else are they going to watch on HBO? Especially now you got the advent of this Disney thing, you got other new, other Rokus and all these other things.
Yeah, well, NBC, every channel that you have on your cable will have a streaming service.
Or network.
You have the DC Universe now.
Yeah.
Where they have 2 shows that I want to see.
Yeah.
They have Doom Patrol on there and Titans, and they both look amazing.
Interesting.
Like, and I've heard Titans is out of this world good.
So what's the rumor with Benioff and Weiss?
Everything that I've said so far in the last 20, 30, however long we've been going on here about Star Wars has had me positive. I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Then I start hearing some of the shills on YouTube, some of the people I watch and love, but they definitely are pro-Disney people and will have heard rumors. And these rumors are that the Benioff and Weiss trilogy and the Rian Johnson trilogy, at a minimum, will be a 6-movie together. They're going to tie in.
They're tying it all in.
And the other part of the rumor that I've heard also is maybe Rian Johnson doesn't get his own trilogy. Maybe Rian Johnson directs, because Benioff and Weiss aren't directing these movies.
They're producers.
The producers are writing it. They're going to choose who they want as their own directors. That maybe he's the director.
I hope they don't pick him. I mean, I guess nothing against Rian Johnson, but something against Rian Johnson.
Well, let me say something real quick. He's definitely not fired. To anybody out there who thinks he's fired, he would not still be tweeting on a daily basis that I'm making my movies. Disney would have shut him up a long time ago. You are going to get his movies at some point, unless Kathleen Kennedy, which we all think after The Rise of Skywalker might be stepping down to pursue bigger and better things, then you might have a new president come in and say, you know what, with all that backlash, we don't need to work with this guy. He's a great director, da-da-da-da-da. Well, which we could all pray for.
He did a good job manning the Death Star in Rogue One. You know that's
yeah.
That's probably my favorite thing he ever did.
He ever did.
Well, let's
not a Looper fan?
No, not a Looper fan.
Yeah.
No.
That's the one thing most people point to.
It does nothing for me. Yeah. I don't find it interesting. Talk about things I'd never want to see a sequel to.
Right.
After Avatar is Looper. I mean, I liked Avatar. That's the difference between Avatar and Looper for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to see sequels of either, but I actually liked Avatar.
Avatar at least built a world.
It built a world.
Yeah.
Built a world. And I think Benioff and Weiss can build a world. Hopefully, they're given the creative vision to both quantify and qualify themselves in the right direction towards a vision of a story that big portions of the fan base want to see.
Right.
And I think that more than The Mandalorian, more than the Disney Channel, is going to be Star Wars Disney's world of Star Wars saving grace. If they have anything that can save them, because until Benioff and Weiss hopefully salvage...
I think The Mandalorian could save them.
Maybe. But I think Benioff and Weiss even deeper, despite all the flack they've gotten for this season of Game of Thrones. I think if they don't, then I think Star Wars will always exist, but Star Wars will be degraded to what people consider like their third or fourth favorite thing instead of their favorite. We're already seeing it happen right now.
It's second.
It's going down to people saying people who maybe used to like it better than Marvel movies or
Marvel owns them
I feel
now.
like going back to a thing that we've discussed before, and let me just preface this by saying I love Doctor Who, but it might end up going into that Doctor Who status of like tertiary interest from your hardcore fans instead of primary interest. I'm spending all my money on said toys, said video games, said cartoons, and said Disney and all this.
I keep seeing the articles and the people come out and say that it's because of Star Wars fatigue. There's no Star Wars fatigue. We want more. Give us more. I'm ready for The Mandalorian today. The problem is you keep giving us bad stories.
Low quality.
Yeah.
It's the low quality of storyline.
Yeah.
And
there's no payoff. If you read the books don't tie into the movies, you know, like stuff like that. That was all promised to us when they took over, that the comics, the books, the cartoons, the movies, the maybe future TV shows will all tie into a greater universe and a greater story and everything. So you read, you invest it. Like when you're reading a Star Wars novel, like 300 pages of that, you want a payoff.
Yeah.
You want it to mean something, not just one book that's on your shelf.
And I've even backpedaled on my comments about Solo, the movie. Because now looking back, I think that these Star Wars stories were actually pretty damn good. But only because I'm comparing them to this lackluster trilogy that's going on right now that isn't doing anything for me. Yeah, you got a good movie, now you got a bad movie. That didn't happen with the first trilogy. And in a way, it really didn't happen with the prequels, because even though you can say what you want about the prequels, I actually like them. But if you can say what you want about them, they are still a Lucas vision. First of all, very much so, to a fault.
Yeah.
They are consistent with one another.
Yeah.
All three of those movies feel like the same movie in a good way.
Yeah.
I'm not getting
that. Lead
that.
in the 4, 5, and 6.
I'm not getting that from this new trilogy. I feel all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like a schizophrenic
and
wasteland.
This is the problem right here. I'm so glad we're gonna hit this, because I wrote it down like real small on my piece of paper. Like I was thinking about, because I went and saw Avengers Endgame, right? And before that, they have the Rise of Skywalker trailer on there.
Right.
And it opens up, and Luke's talking. And he's like, 1,000 generations are in you. Why I sound like Alec Guinness, I have no idea. But, he's saying all this. It's your fight now, Rey. Why the hell is it her fight? What has this person done to be the leader of the Jedi Order, to have the 1,000 generations, and it's her fight to bring the absolute evil in the universe to the end?
I remember that line from the trailer.
But that's the problem.
That's the problem with the whole trilogy.
The whole sequels.
There's no talk about pressure, JJ. Big pressure on JJ because that's probably the biggest challenge that befalls a J.J. Abrams
in this movie
ever that they would get to direct this thing.
Yeah. Originally Colin Trevorrow.
Right. That is the biggest challenge to befall them because up until this point we have some quantifying factors in Force Awakens and not enough in
There were
that stupid movie called
The Last Jedi.
They were drunks. They were stupid. They were useless. God, I hate Kylo Ren. If I just want to put this on record, Kerry Russell, you're okay. Kylo Ren, I hate you. I wish they got Kerry Russell to play Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren, Kerry Russell, K.R. We're going to end it with that amazing coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another episode of Danny on Everything featuring Sith and Synth with Mr. Travis Thigpen. Travis, thanks for coming back.
Thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate it.
We'll be right back. Danny on Everything.
Ha ha ha! We hope you enjoyed this newest episode. Join us next time for more Danny on Everything.